Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare dollar coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1, a golden gleam. A flash of history. A coin that's been in circulation for years but hides secrets worth hundreds, sometimes thousands, of dollars. This isn't just any coin. This is the United States of America Sacagawea Dollar, a coin that defied expectations, vanished from daily use, and re-emerged as a collector's goldmine. If you've ever held one in your hand and tossed it aside thinking it's just another dollar, stop. Do not make that mistake again, because in this video, I'm going to take you on a ride through mystery, money, misprints, and the magnetic pull of American numismatic history. And by the end, you'll never look at this coin the same way again. Let's go. It all started in the year 2000. The U.S. Mint launched the Sacagawea Dollar as the successor to the Susan B. Anthony Dollar. A coin that would not only honor a Native American heroine, but also, this was bold, attempt to fix the public's dislike of the dollar coin altogether. With a golden hue made from a manganese brass alloy, it looked like real gold. It felt different. But something went wrong. The coin was beautiful, yes, but the American public didn't embrace it. It quietly disappeared from everyday use, but in the shadows of the coin-collecting world, it exploded, because buried among the millions minted were varieties, errors, and trial runs that make this coin one of the most exciting modern collectibles in U.S. history. And here's where it gets wild. In 1999, 1 year before official release, a handful of test coins were struck. Some even accidentally paired with the reverse of a Washington quarter. Yes, you heard that right, these hybrid coins, Sacagawea obverse, Washington quarter reverse, were never meant to exist. But they slipped through. Today, they are known as the Cheerios Dollars. Why? Because 5,500 of these test pieces were actually given away in specially marked Cheerios cereal boxes, but here's the kicker. Only a fraction of those coins were struck with an enhanced, detailed eagle tail feather design on the reverse, making them incredibly valuable today. Most people never noticed. Many were spent, lost, forgotten. But if you find that version, the detailed tail feather variety, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Now you're thinking, how do I tell the difference? Hold tight, look closely at the eagle on the reverse side. The regular Sacagawea Dollar has simplified tail feathers, but the rare variety? You'll see sharp ridges, individual feather tips, a bold, almost sculptural depth. If it looks like the eagle's about to fly off the coin, you might have the real deal. Next, let's talk about strike errors, because the Sacagawea Dollar has some of the most dramatic misprints ever caught in circulation. Off-center strikes, multiple planchet strikes, missing edge lettering, even double die obverse where Sacagawea's face literally ghosts across the coin. And here's something else, check the edge of the coin. Unlike modern presidential dollars, early Sacagawea coins have plain edges, but if you find lettering or odd milling on a Sacagawea coin, you could be looking at a minting experiment or transitional error, and collectors pay top dollar for that kind of anomaly. And here's a major tip, pay attention to the years after 2009. From 2009 onward, the reverse design changed every year to feature different Native American themes. Some of these designs had extremely low mintage numbers, especially those not released into circulation. 2012. Only issued for collectors. 2015. Mintage numbers were a fraction of early 2000s coins. 2019. The Apollo 11 design tribute, wildly popular, but now harder to find in pristine condition. So what does this mean for you? It means every time you come across one of these coins, every time you hold one up to the light, you're holding a chance. A chance at a valuable error. A forgotten prototype. A low mintage issue someone else completely missed. And if you want to spot the truly rare ones, here's the best advice you'll ever hear. Use a 10x loop to inspect the eagle's tail feathers, check for doubling in the word Liberty and the date, examine the edge for any unexpected features, and always check mint marks, Philadelphia, P, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. Can all have unique quirks depending on the year, but above all, trust your instincts. Collectors often say, I knew. Something felt different about that coin. That feeling? That hunch, that's your treasure map. The Sacagawea Dollar isn't just currency, it's a piece of living history. It tells the story of a woman who guided Lewis and Clark across the wilderness, with a baby on her back, while changing the course of American exploration forever. And it tells a modern story too, of mistakes, secrets, and the thrill of the hunt. So next time you see that glint of gold in your change tray, or buried in the bottom of a coin jar, remember this video. Don't just pass it off. Inspect it. Because you never know. One of the rarest Sacagawea dollars ever sold at auction fetched a staggering amount, all that, from a coin that once cost just $1, but for the right one, it could be worth thousands. So, the question is, have you already found one, and just don't know it yet? Top 2, this is the story of the 1971 Kennedy half dollar, a coin that millions ignore, but only the sharpest eyes realize might be worth far more than 50 cents. If you're a collector, a treasure hunter, or someone who just loves a good mystery with real money on the line, do not miss a single second of this. Let's dive into the chase. The Kennedy half dollar was introduced in 1964, barely months after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. It was meant to honor him. The coin struck a deep emotional chord with the American people. And for the first few years, it was struck in 90% silver, but fast forward to 1971, and something changed. That year marked a turning point. The U.S. Mint stopped using silver entirely. From 1971 on, Kennedy half dollars were clad, just copper and nickel. To most people, that made them less interesting, but what almost no one realized, was that not every 1971 half dollar followed the rules. This is where things get exciting. Rumors started to swirl. Whispers among collectors. Stories about 1971 Kennedy half dollars struck on silver planchets that were never meant to be used that year. How did it happen? Simple, leftover 40% silver blanks from 1970 and earlier somehow made their way into the 1971 production line. A few slipped through. Quietly. Accidentally. Into circulation. Undetected, and today? They are treasure. Only a handful have been discovered. One was authenticated by PCGS, weighing in heavier than a normal clad coin, with a different ring when dropped, and a soft, almost white metal luster you won't see on regular 1971s. So how do you know if you have one? Listen carefully. First, check the edge of your coin. A regular 1971 Kennedy half dollar has a clear copper core when viewed from the side. That copper stripe is a dead giveaway. But a silver planchet? You won't see that. The edge should appear uniform, almost white or dull gray all the way around. Next, weigh it. A standard clad Kennedy half dollar weighs 11.34 grams. But the silver ones? They'll come in at around 11.5 grams. The difference may seem small, but to a scale, it's everything. Now here's the twist. Some 1971 halves show dramatic strike errors, minting mistakes that make collectors drool. There are 1971 D half dollars with double dies, where the inscriptions like, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty" appear slightly doubled, as if ghosting over themselves. That doubling? It turns a common coin into a collectible jackpot. And then there are the coins with off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or even coins struck on foreign blanks. Yes, that actually happened. One of the most dramatic examples? A 1971 Kennedy half dollar struck on a quarter-sized planchet. Imagine that, this massive design, jammed onto a coin too small for it. The result? Incomplete details, bizarre borders, and a price tag at auction that shocked collectors everywhere. You might be wondering, why would the mint let something like this happen? But here's the truth. In the chaos of mass production, mistakes happen. Especially in the early 70s, when machinery was being updated, silver was being phased out, and coin production was at full throttle to meet public demand, and sometimes, those mistakes become masterpieces. Still, there's another layer to the Kennedy half dollar story, and it's what keeps collectors obsessed: the legacy. This coin isn't just metal, it's memory. It's grief. It's pride. It's one of the few coins where emotion and value walk hand in hand. When you hold one, you're not just holding 50 cents. You're holding the echo of a presidency, a national tragedy, a nation trying to heal, and if that 1971 coin in your hand just so happens to be one of the rare silver-struck errors, if it just so happens to show doubling, or weigh a little heavy, you're holding more than history. You're holding money. Real money. So here's what you do next: get a precise digital scale, weigh your 1971 coins, use a 10x magnifier to inspect for doubling in Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date. Always check the edge, look for that solid silver tone. If in doubt, get it tested. A local coin dealer can do a specific gravity test or XRF scan. Or send it to a grading company like PCGS or NGC, they'll tell you exactly what you've got. Remember, 1971 might sound modern, but these errors are getting rarer by the year. The longer you wait, the harder they'll be to find. So go check those jars. Those boxes. That stash in the back of your sock drawer, because the Kennedy $50 from 1971 might just be your sleeper hit. Your overlooked jackpot. The coin that everyone else passed over, except you, and when it finally hits you, that one little mistake from a government mint over 50 years ago could be sitting in your palm. It's not just thrilling, it's unforgettable. And to think, that coin? It was only meant to be worth 50 cents. Top 3. I'm talking about the 1972 Kennedy $50, and in this video I'm going to show you just how special this coin really is, so don't blink and don't skip a second, because one detail could mean the difference between a coin worth 50 cents and one worth hundreds or even more. Now, the Kennedy $50 isn't just any coin, it's one of the most iconic and emotional designs in modern American coinage, created to honor the legacy of President John F. Kennedy shortly after his tragic assassination in 1963. This coin became a symbol of hope, unity, and remembrance. But by the year 1972 a lot had changed in the world and in U.S. mint practices, and because of that this year's coin holds secrets that can make it incredibly valuable for collectors who know what to look for. At first glance, the 1972 Kennedy $50 might not look too different from the others, but deep in the world of error coins and rare mint varieties, this particular year has proven itself to be one of the most exciting sleeper coins in the entire series. And when I say sleeper, I mean it's one of those coins that people often overlook, and yet collectors in the know are actively searching for specific errors and conditions that are now fetching major premiums at coin shows and auctions. Let's talk about what makes the 1972 Kennedy $50 stand out. First and most important, this coin was supposed to be made from a copper-nickel clad composition with no silver whatsoever. However, there have been reports and rumors of a few 1972 $50 struck on leftover silver planchets from previous years, and if you were lucky enough to find one of these by weight or edge color, that coin could be worth serious money. Another rare and valuable feature that makes the 1972 Kennedy $50 special is the double die reverse. That's right, this coin has known varieties where the details on the back, especially around the eagle's wings, the arrows and the stars, appear doubled under magnification. These types of minting errors are incredibly collectible, and if your coin shows crisp doubling with strong luster, you could be sitting on a coin that's worth far more than its face value. And the thrill doesn't stop there, because some 1972 Kennedy $50 have also been discovered with off-center strikes, missing mint marks, or filled die errors that distort the details of the design, giving them a one-of-a-kind look. Coins with these kinds of striking errors have sold for big numbers depending on their grade and appeal, and collectors love coins that tell a story, especially when they're the result of rare minting mistakes. Here's a real tip for collectors: whether you're just getting started or you've been at it for years, always check for weight and sound with your Kennedy $50 from 1971, 1972 and 1973. A regular clad $50 will have a copper edge and a lighter ring when dropped, but a silver planchet has a smoother edge with no visible copper and makes a duller, heavier sound. Weighing your coin can also be key. A normal 1972 should weigh around 11.3 grams, but if yours comes in heavier or feels different in hand, that's a red flag. You might have something special. Another expert move is to closely inspect the lettering and details using a 10x loupe or magnifier, especially around the reverse legend in eagles features. Any signs of doubling or distortion could mean you've got a double die reverse, and those coins are in demand, especially from PCGS and NGC. When professionally graded, now let's talk real-world value, because we know collectors love numbers. A typical circulated 1972 Kennedy $50 might only trade hands for its face value at a flea market or coin machine, 50 cents, but here's where things get exciting. High-grade examples, especially those graded MS-66 or MS-67, can sell in places like Houston or Miami for between $100 to $300 depending on strike quality and luster. Double-die reverse varieties have sold for as much as $500 or more in cities like Philadelphia and Las Vegas when authenticated and graded properly, and rare off-metal strikes or errors involving silver planchets can reach thousands of dollars, with collectors and dealers competing at auction events in California and New York. And remember, this isn't just about money, it's about history, passion, and the fun of the hunt. There's something incredible about turning a simple coin into a conversation piece, a collection centerpiece, or even an investment that grows in value with time. The 1972 Kennedy half-dollar isn't just a piece of metal, it's a piece of America, and when you find the right one, it's a piece of treasure. So if you're enjoying this journey through the coins that matter most, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, because we've got even more incredible coin stories coming your way every week. We're building a community of collectors, learners, and seekers just like you who love this hobby and believe in its power to surprise and reward. Now we want to hear from you. Have you ever come across a 1972 Kennedy half-dollar in your collection or in change? Did it look different or have any odd features? Drop your coin story in the comments. We read every one, and your story might just be featured in an upcoming video or help another collector find their next big win. Keep searching, keep learning, and always stay curious, because the next coin you flip over might just be the one worth a fortune, and when you find that rare gem, you'll remember this moment right here when you realize just how valuable a 1972 half-dollar could be. And to wrap it up, one last reminder: the original market value of the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar is 50 cents, but in the hands of the right collector or at the right auction, it has sold for $100, $300, $500, and even thousands of dollars across markets in Texas, California, and beyond. Top 4. We're diving into the incredible world of the 1972 Eisenhower $1 coin, and if you think you know this coin already, I promise you haven't heard it like this before, so stay with me, because what we're about to uncover might just change the way you look at your change forever. Now, you've probably seen an Eisenhower dollar before. It's large in size, features the strong and determined face of President Dwight D. Eisenhower, and has a bold reverse design with an eagle landing on the moon. Inspired by the Apollo 11 mission, pure American power and symbolism in the palm of your hand. But the 1972 version of this coin isn't just another dollar. This particular year holds one of the most mysterious and valuable hidden errors in modern U.S. coin history, and collectors are still chasing it down to this day. Here's where things get exciting. In 1972, the United States Mint made the Eisenhower dollar at multiple locations, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But here's the kicker: the Philadelphia Mint made 3 different reverse designs for the 1972 coin, and they weren't labeled or publicized. That means that most people, including collectors, had no idea what they were holding in their hands, and one of those reverse types, known as Type 2, is so rare and valuable that it's considered a major treasure in the Eisenhower series. So what exactly makes the 1972 Type 2 reverse so rare? It's all in the details of the Earth design above the eagle on the reverse side of the coin. The continents are less detailed, the islands near Florida and the Caribbean are barely visible, and the globe itself looks flatter compared to the other types. These were the very first strikes of the year using a flawed master die, and only a very limited number made it into circulation before the Mint corrected the design, making this Type 2 one of the most coveted coins in modern U.S. numismatics. Collectors have spent years searching rolls, bags, and collections just to find a single example of the Type 2 reverse, and those who find it are rewarded in a big way. In fact, examples of the 1972 Type 2 Eisenhower dollar in high grade have sold in major coin auctions in places like Las Vegas and New York for over $2,500, and that's not even the highest number ever recorded. But the story doesn't end there. There are even more exciting things about the 1972 Eisenhower dollar that make this coin a thrill for collectors. There are double-die varieties with bold doubling in the lettering or date, especially around the word liberty or the phrase "In God We Trust." There are off-center strikes that show part of the blank planchet, and some coins were even accidentally struck on silver-clad planchets left over from collector sets. And let's not forget about the beautiful proof and blue ike versions. These were special collector releases from the San Francisco Mint that featured mirror-like finishes or brilliant uncirculated satin textures, and when preserved in perfect condition, these coins can fetch high prices from eager buyers and dealers. A perfect MS-67 or PR-69 example can absolutely turn heads at shows from Texas to Pennsylvania. Now if you're a collector or even just someone curious about coins, here's a hot tip: always check your 1972 Eisenhower dollars closely, especially if they came from Rolls bags or older collections. Use a 10x loupe to inspect the details of the earth on the reverse to see if you've got that rare Type 2 design and compare it with images of the other types. This could be the small detail that unlocks a major payday. And another expert move: weigh your coin if it seems off or has a silver-like edge. Some planchets may have been struck from silver composition and slipped through the cracks, and these types of minting mistakes are exactly the kinds of discoveries collectors dream about. If you find any strange strike marks, die cracks, doubling, or off-center designs on your 1972 Eisenhower dollar, don't dismiss it. Get it graded by a respected grading company like PCGS or NGC, and you could turn that simple coin into a high-dollar collectible that serious numismatists will want to add to their collection right away. This coin has been increasing in collector demand every year, especially as more and more people learn about the Type 2 reverse and its extreme rarity. The Eisenhower dollar has gone from being an overlooked piece of change to one of the most interesting and exciting coins in U.S. history, and the 1972 issue is the crown jewel of that story. So if you've got a 1972 Eisenhower dollar in your drawer, your pocket, or your old collection, pull it out right now and take a closer look, because it might not just be a dollar. It might be a piece of rare American history that's worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars to the right buyer. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of America's most mysterious and valuable coins, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe right now, because every single week we're bringing you real coin stories, real market prices, and real chances for you to discover treasures hiding in plain sight. This is your new favorite channel for coins collecting and true American value, so don't miss a single episode. And we want to hear from you. Have you ever found a 1972 Eisenhower dollar with unusual features? Have you checked for the Type 2 reverse? Drop your story in the comments and let's talk coins. You never know who you'll inspire or what amazing find someone else might share. Until next time, keep your eyes open, keep your hands steady, and never stop searching, because the next coin you find might be the rare one everyone else missed, and it could change everything for you as a collector. And remember, the original value of the 1972 Eisenhower dollar is $1. But depending on condition, rarity, and those incredible Type 2 errors, this coin has sold for $200, $500, $1,000. And even over $2,500 at shows and auctions across the United States. Top 5, and last rare coin. There's something powerful about holding a big bold Eisenhower dollar in your hand. The weight, the shine, and the history all packed into a single coin that once symbolized America's strength and unity. But what if I told you that one particular year holds a secret that most people overlook? That year is 1974, and if you've never taken a close look at your 1974 Eisenhower $1 coin, this is your moment, because this coin has some incredible surprises for collectors that are hiding in plain sight. Today we're going to reveal the true value behind the 1974 Eisenhower dollar and why this coin is more than just a dollar. It could be a hidden treasure sitting right in your collection or even in your pocket. From rare mint errors to high-grade collectibles and special silver issues, this coin has collectors across the country on the hunt, and if you're into rare finds, this one should absolutely be on your radar. Now let's take a step back and remember what was happening in 1974. It was a time of political change, economic shifts, and rising demand for coins that meant something deeper. The Eisenhower dollar was struck to honor the great General and President Dwight D. Eisenhower, and to celebrate the Apollo 11 moon landing, with that iconic eagle landing on the lunar surface on the reverse side of the coin. That combination of leadership and exploration makes this coin more than currency. It's a story frozen in metal. But what really makes the 1974 Ike dollar interesting is that it came in multiple versions, and each version has its own secrets. First, you've got the regular circulation strike made from copper-nickel clad, issued from both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Then you have the collector editions from the San Francisco mint, and those include the silver-clad uncirculated versions and proof strikes that are already in high demand by collectors all over the country. Now listen closely, because this is where the value starts to build. One of the most exciting features to look out for in the 1974 Eisenhower dollar is the off-metal error. That means coins that were accidentally struck on the wrong kind of blank planchet, and a few 1974 Eisenhower dollars were struck on silver planchets instead of clad. These errors are extremely rare, but they have surfaced, and when authenticated they can sell for well over $1,000 in auctions in cities like Chicago and San Diego. There are also known die adjustment strikes and weak strikes where details are faint or missing due to the mint adjusting pressure. Collectors love these kinds of oddities because they show the behind-the-scenes production quirks of the mint, and each one is unique. Combine that with high-grade uncirculated versions from mint sets or proof coins that still shine with that mirror finish, and you've got the recipe for a coin that's not only collectible but also a true showpiece in any collection. Let's not forget the strike quality. Coins graded MS66 and above are especially hard to find because the large size of the Eisenhower dollar made it tough to strike cleanly without marks or blemishes. So if you find a 1974 Eisenhower dollar with sharp detail, no major scratches, and beautiful luster, you could be holding a coin that serious collectors would pay top dollar for. Now here's a tip for all collectors: always check the edge of your 1974 Eisenhower dollar. The copper nickel-clad coins will show a strip of copper along the edge, while the silver-clad versions will look solid and silvery all the way through. Weighing your coin is another smart move. If your coin weighs closer to 24.6 grams instead of the standard clad weight, it could be one of those rare silver planchet errors. Another tip: if your coin has a D mint mark for Denver or no mint mark at all for Philadelphia and it's in excellent condition, hold onto it and consider getting it graded, especially if you spot doubling on the letters or numbers or any misalignment in the design, because small differences like that can turn a regular coin into a moneymaker for collectors who know what to look for. Even better if you've got a 1974 Eisenhower dollar from the San Francisco Mint with that shiny proof finish and it's been untouched in original packaging or mint condition. You could be looking at a coin that's highly sought after, especially if it grades PR 69 or higher. Some of these examples have sold for hundreds of dollars in auctions from New York to Arizona, and they're only getting more valuable as time goes on. What's really special about the Eisenhower series, and especially the 1974 issue, is that it's still affordable for new collectors but filled with opportunities for serious value. It represents an era of American history and carries with it the legacy of one of our greatest leaders combined with the boldness of the space age, and that's why collectors love this coin so much. So if you've got one of these in your change jar or in an old coin folder, now is the time to take a closer look. The 1974 Eisenhower dollar might just be your ticket to a rare discovery, and whether it's an error coin, a high-grade example, or a silver strike, this coin is one of the hottest topics in the coin world right now. If you found this video interesting and you love coins that tell a story, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, because we're building a passionate community of collectors who are always one step ahead in the hunt for the next rare find. Every week we dive into the coins that others overlook and reveal the true treasures hiding in plain sight, and we want you to be a part of this journey with us. We also want to hear from you. Have you ever come across a 1974 Eisenhower dollar with unusual features? Have you checked your coins for silver strikes or high-grade condition? Share your stories in the comments below and let's keep the conversation going, because the next great discovery could start with you. So keep your eyes sharp, your hands steady, and your mind open, because every coin has a story, and the 1974 Eisenhower dollar might just be your next big discovery.